Audience, we've got a bit of a moral dilemma tonight. When you enter a room, do you take your hat and your sunglasses off when you're addressing the adults in the room? When you address the children in the room, do you put them back on? Because I feel like that's a lot of flip-flopping with your hat and sunglasses.
It's a lot of on and off.
We're gonna get to that moral dilemma here in a few minutes. Jam-packed episode tonight. Got a lot to talk about. We got NFL later. Talking Baker Mayfield of all people, but that's later.
That's my go.
That's bottom half of the hour. Top half of the hour here. We talk college football. Episode 2.
Let's get into it.
Under the lights. We're glad you guys are here with us on a beautiful Tuesday night. Joe's not here tonight again, but that's fine. That's fine. Rumor mill's churning, and it's telling us that Joe will likely be here for his first episode next week, which also might just be our best episode to date of any podcast, content-wise, everything-wise, and the return of Joe. Like, the return of Joe already makes it the best. But that's episode 3. This is episode 2. We're jam-packed.
Big loves to Joe.
We got college football to start the night, and we've got a team that we said we were not going to talk again.
I feel like they're going to get talked about a lot more than we think.
Thanks to Jay Norvell, we're right back in this seat talking about him again for the first segment of the episode of episode 2. So let's get right into that. The Rocky Mountain Showdown, it brought all the action. When I'm talking all the action, I'm talking a whole page of notes right down below me here. We'll start with the trash talk. We'll start with the smoke. We'll start with the only thing that hyped this matchup to the point where it got to. And that's, the comments made by Jay Norvell about the hat and the sunglasses, addressing the adults.
He wanted all the smoke.
And he brought it. I'm not talking interviews.
He wasn't backing down. He didn't care that it was Coach Prime on the other side. He didn't care.
His team brought it in game. And they brought it well. That was a heck of a game. Star-studded game, and I'm not talking the players on the field. I'm talking that packed, tiny Colorado sideline. Colorado, please do some stadium renovations.
Figure it out.
If Lil Wayne can't fit on your sideline, you got problems. You got Lil Wayne walking the team out. That was really goofy.
Kind of lit.
Really
it was kind of
goofy.
lit though.
You got Offset there. You've got Kyle Lowry. We got a whole
Chauncey Billups
there. We got The Rock introducing the team, I guess. We got The Rock trash talking Jay Norvell.
Wait, is it because he's The Rock and it was in Boulder?
I think we're thinking a little too deep there. But either way,
I actually just thought of that. I feel kind of smart.
Star-studded game, but that's not what matters. We're talking football here. What a game. Yeah. Colorado kind of laid an egg, though. Laid an egg.
Colorado State came out and they smacked them.
A good bit.
They played physical. They played tough. They played fast. They did everything. They did everything very well. Colorado opened this game as a 24. I think a 20. They might have opened as a 28. They might have closed at a 24 to 24.5 point favorite. Yeah.
So Vegas knew something, dude. That spread closed by 4 points. Anyway, either way, really far spread to go into double overtime in this game. But we'll talk about the significance of that here in a minute. Let's talk Shedeur Sanders' stats first, which apparently is just going to be a theme. First half stats, not great. 12 for 15, 54 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
Not bad. At least he was accurate. Well, he was accurate, but he had the one interception.
he was accurate to a degree. That interception was on a double tip, to be fair.
Yeah.
First half, you're thinking this is going to be a dud of a game. And it didn't turn out to be when you look at that second half. 26 for 32, 294 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's a Heisman game in and of itself, just in the second half. He had the best half. Like his second half was better than a lot of college football players' entire games, entire seasons. That's true.
To this point,
his second half was better than Brady Cook's performance against Kansas State, but we'll get to that too. Either way, scoring wise, Colorado in that first half, they didn't score a touchdown other than their fumble recovery for a touchdown. Or no, pick six. That was Shiloh
pick
Sanders.
Six.
Pick six for touchdowns.
Disrespected Shiloh last week. He shuts you up.
And he had a heck of a week.
Yeah, a very good game.
But either way, did not score on their first 6 offensive possessions. Did not score a touchdown on their first 6 offensive possessions. Second half, they scored on 5 of their last 6. So this team really got fired up in the second half. They came out, they did their thing.
Yeah, they finally showed up.
Took 2 overtimes, but you got the job done. You're 3-0. That's what matters. Penalties were huge in this game. You knew it was going to be dirty. You knew it was going to be dirty. You knew it was going to be chippy. It's already a big rivalry. I mean, there's a lot of casuals who don't understand the significance of this rivalry. That's the 100th time they've played.
Yeah, not only is it a big rivalry, but it's even bigger now because like Colorado has this huge hype around them. So Colorado State's coming in like, we're going to beat you on your home turf. And like, obviously the trash talking like built it even more. So like Colorado State came in and they were going to play dirty no matter what.
Oh yeah, and they were ready to win. That team came ready to win. Came ready to perform.
They came ready and hungry.
Yes, they did. Flags. Colorado State flagged 17 times for 187 yards. 11 of those personal fouls. You had the targeting very late in the game. You had the face mask very late in the game. There's a lot. There's a lot going on penalty wise. The fact that you still almost won this game with that many penalties, but flip side, Colorado, I believe, also had 11 penalties. Not a whole lot of personal fouls, but also had 11 penalties for around 89 yards, I believe. But penalties just
that's ridiculous.
I expected
you can't win football games given that.
You can't win football games that way. You can't win football games with a -4 turnover margin and 187 yards of penalties. It's really hard to do. They almost did it.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to do. Now, before we move on,
very impressive if they did.
Before we move on, is there any cause for panic out of this Colorado team?
I think a little bit because like. Obviously, they lost Travis Hunter. We didn't talk about it much, but like they lost Travis Hunter because of that dirty hit.
They did.
And he's gone the next, I think, 3-4 weeks, something like that.
Should be gone the next 3-game stretch, which we were.
Yeah,
was the stretch
like we talked last week. Yeah, like we talked last week. Big 3 games: USC, Oregon, and I can't remember.
Arizona State.
Arizona State. I knew it was an Arizona one.
Arizona State not looking great.
Yeah, but like if you come out in that first half against Oregon or USC, Arizona State, you can come out like that in the first half and still probably beat them by 50. But if you come out the first half they did against Colorado State, they're not beating Oregon, and they're not coming close to touching USC.
You wouldn't think. Oregon's got a lot going for them right now.
They look good.
Oregon looks very good. You come out like that against Oregon, you don't have a whole lot of a shot. A lot of people hating on Deion for this one. The haters were out in full force. You knew they would be because that's what Deion brings. He's brought a lot of kind of casual people to the table with this one who are going to ride his coattails when he's succeeding, and they're going to jump right on that hate wagon when he doesn't succeed. It's going to happen, but
and he wants it. He wants it too. He's inviting it at this point.
I don't want to compare Deion Sanders to Nick Saban yet, just because I don't even think he'll be a college football coach for that long. His sons graduate soon.
Yeah, facts.
But
didn't he? I think he said he didn't want to be an NFL coach, though.
No, he does not want to be an NFL coach. I just don't think he'll really coach college football for that long. But either way, maybe he will. Maybe we will. I don't want to compare him to Saban, but the best example I have, Nick Saban's first year at Alabama, he lost, I believe, 3 of his first 4 games. He got blown out by Louisiana Monroe. 3 years later, they're winning a national championship. I mean, they finished, I believe, 4th or 5th in the SEC that year, even after an ugly start, finished 4th or 5th in the SEC that year. 3 years later, they're winning their first national championship under Nick Saban. So give Deion a little time. He said it early in the week. He's got 6 or 7 more dogs he needs to get on that team. And then let's see what they can do with that.
Facts, yeah. I mean, it's literally a brand new team. They had 87 transfers and pretty much an entire new coaching staff.
I mean,
so let's give them a bit of a break.
And that's another thing. Let's go back even further. They went 1-11 last season.
Facts.
This team went 1-11 last season. Let's not change the narrative now. Let's not forget the fact that this team went 1-11. Oh, it's a whole new team. Correct. It's a whole new team. He brought in that many new guys, and they're winning.
They still look this good.
And they're winning already. Yeah. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and you don't bring in 87 new guys and get talked about by the entire country as one of the best teams in the country already. That's not how college football is supposed to work.
No, it's not supposed to work that way at all. So, I mean, hats off to Deion. A lot of people, jumping back and forth on that wagon. I say hats off to Deion. I'm excited to see where that goes. I think it's going beautiful places, but
he's doing a lot of good things.
He's doing a lot of great things. Either way, let's move on. Missouri takes on Kansas. This was our upset pick. Missouri.
I didn't pick it.
I picked it.
I'll be honest. I didn't pick it.
I picked it. I picked the game to be our upset and then picked the upset. Missouri takes down Kansas 30-27. Harrison Mevis sets an SEC record with a 61-yard walk-off field goal.
That's a boot.
Iowa State fans, PTSD from this one. Texas Tech 2 years ago, 62-yard field goal. Top that. Anyway, what a game, though.
That was a fun
game. My thing is with this pick and why I'm so excited about it is exactly what we discussed could happen in this game happened in this game.
Yeah.
Kansas State got dominated in the trenches all game. All game.
That offensive line of Missouri looks very freaking good.
They could not force a pass rush, and they were getting rushed all night.
Yep.
All night. And Brady Cook kind of asserted his dominance in this game as well.
He cooked.
I said watch out for Brady Cook last week. I'm saying watch out for Brady Cook the rest of the season. Unless you're playing the top half of the SEC, then you can probably just change the channel. But either way, Brady Cook, great game. 23 for 35, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. What a game.
Very good game.
I mean,
very impressive. You haven't seen Missouri quarterback do anything like that?
No. In a long time. Who was the last somewhat successful? Drew Lock. Yeah, Drew Lock would have been the last somewhat successful Missouri quarterback. I was trying to think of his name. I just remember him dancing on the sideline.
I just remember, I think he was the one that got the beer thrown at him from the crowd, and he just grabbed it and slammed it.
He grabbed it and drank it.
Idiot.
Yeah, a little bit. Man, hopefully our upset pick is that good again this week. I wish we could pick a game every week and go to it. We don't got the production budget for that quite yet.
Hey, start liking, subscribing.
Subscribe. No, but if I could pick a game, it would have probably been this game this week, and it would have been a dang fine game to go to.
That would have been a fun one to go to. Or no, let's be real. The game we're picking is that Colorado State game.
We could have gone to both. I mean, that game didn't start till way past my bedtime.
That's a good point.
That game didn't start till way past my bedtime, and I stayed up for the whole thing. I didn't have a heart attack, but I was several energy drinks deep.
Yep.
We got a new segment here that we're going to move on to. A little segment called Message Board Maniacs. There's a lot of maniacs out there. College football is a very, very passionate space. So the most fun thing to do after college football games, dive into those message boards. Couple things happened this weekend. Tennessee got absolutely demolished by Florida this weekend. And
Florida looks good.
Oklahoma State got blown out by Alabama State. Who? Either way, we are... Let me get the right segment up here. Message board maniacs. We're going to dive into Tennessee's message board first. We got a few comments here. We got a few questions here. Apparently, Josh Heupel is on the hot seat according to those message boards. Got a comment here. Hopefully, Prime is on speed dial. I don't think
that's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous as well. Josh Heupel, you got to understand a couple things with Josh Heupel. One, he brought you the furthest you've been in a couple decades last year. You beat Alabama.
Honestly, last year
beat Alabama.
Yeah,
you went to the best bowl game you've been into in a long time. You didn't make the playoffs, but I mean, so be it. It's 12 teams soon. You're gonna make it every 3 years. Either way, you had a phenomenal season. You're still going to have a phenomenal season, and Florida's a very good team. I don't think it's time to look past Josh Heupel quite yet. I think you're reaching a little bit to already be trying to kick that guy to the door. He's done a lot for your program. Yeah. There's a lot still to do for the program. You lost Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt coming into this season. You're trying to recover with Joe Milton and no bona fide stud receiver. Like, that's a lot to lose with nothing to gain.
Yeah. They don't have that number one stepping up like Hyatt did last year, which, I mean, he could step out next week and then all of a sudden they're saying, oh my gosh, Josh Heupel, he's the best coach in the league.
We've got another user. We've got another user here looking to move on from Joe Milton already 3 games into the season.
That's literally absurd.
I would rather go 500 this season with Nico than see Milton start a single down from here on out.
That might be the dumbest thing I've seen in college football. Literally, Joe, he looks good.
Joe Milton's got one of the best arms in college football. Obviously, an overreaction here.
He can throw it 70 yards.
Without even setting his feet. I mean, this dude's really good. He wasn't making the best plays on Saturday night, but you're in the swamp. Florida looked really good. That pass rush was on him all night. He made a few bad decisions in that game, but I don't think it's time to move on. That's your first conference game. You got a lot of conference games ahead of you. You're not out of any race yet. That Tennessee team still looked good despite of getting kind of smacked a little bit. I mean, you got a lot of potential. Another comment here, and this guy's a little more optimistic. We've got a comment saying 5-1 by the Alabama game. This guy says 0% chance that happens. I like it. I think they are 5-1 by the Alabama game. They play UTSA, South Carolina, and Texas A&M in the next few weeks. I don't think any of those games are close.
I don't think those teams can compete with Tennessee. And if I think Tennessee fans, if they're thinking that they're not winning those 3 games, they need to relax.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think 5-1 by Alabama is very attainable. You do go on the road to Tuscaloosa in that game, so you might be 5-2 after that. But Alabama doesn't look great either. Alabama doesn't look great either.
Yeah.
South Florida just shut them out in the first half of that game.
You want to talk about let's talk about an overreaction. Let's talk about some Alabama fans saying they need to get rid of Saban. If you said that and you're an Alabama fan, get out of the country because you're silly.
I think the biggest thing with Saban right now is I think he's starting to realize with NIL that you can't just have the top players in the country sitting on your bench waiting to play anymore. You can't have that because those guys are going to go make money elsewhere. So I think that's the thing with Saban and NIL, but he's Nick Saban. Yeah. He's going to figure out how to navigate the new landscape. He's going to come right back.
Fantastic coach. He's going to figure it out.
He's going to come back right back to domination. This isn't the NFL where you have an incredibly balanced league and you have to stick with the same guys for 5 years because their contracts bind them to your team. This is college football. If you want to reload every year, you can reload every year. That's the beautiful thing about the game.
Yep. And if you don't believe it, ask Deion Sanders.
It's never the same. That's the beautiful thing. Nick Saban's going to figure that out. We got Oklahoma State fans in absolute shambles after getting dominated by Alabama State, I believe is who it was. I don't even remember their name. We got a comment here. Absolutely lifeless team in all aspects. Fire everyone, clean house, pick a quarterback, stop using all 3. Bedlam, which is their rivalry with Oklahoma, will be a televised execution on levels never seen before. A follow-up to that comment, this is the worst OSU team I've ever watched. Absolutely brutal. Follow-up to that, coming into this game, many fans knew an upset was possible. Didn't know we'd get sent back all the way to 1991, though. Oh, what a beautiful game.
You know, with the Tennessee ones, I couldn't disagree with the Oklahoma State ones. I'm on board with it. They are on the struggle bus. Oh, man, especially coming off of last year. I mean, like you were just saying, everything could change. But last year, they looked so good. They had Spencer Saunders, however you say his name.
Spencer Sanders,
and he looked really good. And like their defense looks pretty solid. They had a solid run game, and now they can't do any of it.
Yeah.
Now they just are bad.
Let's break down his comments there. Fire everyone, clean house. Is Mike Gundy's run at Oklahoma State coming to an end? This one I could almost see.
I could see it.
In the current landscape of college football, this one I could very, very heavily see. He's not changing anything. He doesn't look like he has any interest in really winning. With their quarterback situation, they are playing 3 different guys. He's playing his son and 2 other guys. Those 3 quarterbacks this weekend combined 16 for 35, 110 yards, and an interception.
That's awful. That's literally terrible.
Terrible. Like
you're not winning a football game like that.
You've got to.
It's hard to build that offense when you don't even know who your own quarterback is.
No, you have no identity.
You need to have chemistry with the quarterback, the receivers, the running back, the line, and you can't just be throwing everyone in all crazy. It's not going to work.
If you can't build an identity against South Alabama, how are you going to build an identity against Iowa State next weekend, which is our next comment? Well, I don't even want to play Iowa State next week. Is the second most, I believe, second most upvoted comment on the subreddit this weekend.
When was that comment made? Was that before or after Iowa State just completely?
After, because they played after us.
Oh, and they made this comment after the game?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, those fans are down bad.
Yeah, they're down bad. Iowa State also lost to a MAC opponent this weekend, for those of you who did not catch that game.
But the field goal was good anyway.
Field goal was good, but it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. That shouldn't have been that close.
No, it shouldn't have been that close. But either way, poor Oklahoma State fans, man. Let's get to our spotlight.
They're on the struggle bus.
We'll let those fans stay on the struggle bus. We're going to move on. Train is rolling. Let's get to our spotlight features. We start the weekend off with number 6, Ohio State, at number 9, Notre Dame. Let's call this our game of the week. Ohio State at Notre Dame. Big game for both of these teams. First of all, you've got Ohio State in a must win. I would call this a must win for a playoff resume scenario, because you don't really play that tough of a schedule. I think you need this win on that resume, as well as potentially here in the distant future, a win over Michigan. Big game for Notre Dame as well, because this is a legacy game. This is a massive legacy game for Marcus Freeman. He needs this win. Notre Dame has not won this game since 1936. That's not on Marcus Freeman. They've also only played like a total of 8 times. So that number, there's some years between that number. But either way, they need this win, dude. Notre Dame looks really good so far.
But Ohio State looked very good in the second half of their game this week.
Ohio State's offense is really picked things up. Last week we were talking about their offense looking a little shaky, and then this week they came out and they played Ohio State football. As much as Ohio State is a potential national championship pick for me, I think week 4 is going to bring some special games to us. Notre Dame needs this win. Notre Dame wants this win. Marcus Freeman.
Are you calling an upset?
Marcus Freeman is 3-0.
You're calling an upset.
Marcus Freeman is 3-0 for the first time
in his Notre Dame career. Upset. You stop it.
I'm taking Notre Dame to win this game.
Get out. He was offsides. Give me Ohio State.
Notre Dame's at home. 3-point spread. Ohio State favored in that spread. Notre Dame is at home. I'm taking the upset. I want the upset. I think this is going to be an incredible game. Both teams, Notre Dame especially, finally has the weapons to make a game like this a shootout game, and they're going to have to. Ohio State is not going to settle for anything other than a shootout game. Notre Dame has those weapons, and I think you get in a shootout at home, you're going to be a lot more comfortable than a shootout on the road. Give me Notre Dame.
I feel like the over-under on this game has to be like 100. Because I feel like that's what this game is going to be.
It's a college football game. It's probably around like 42, but
yeah, that's probably true. But dude, I mean, if you listen to our old podcast, You know I do not like Notre Dame because of one man.
We had a shirt and everything.
We did have a shirt because that movie was bad.
Is it even? I was gonna say, is it even a good movie? I'm gonna admit to you right now, audience, I've never seen Rudy.
It's a dumb movie. It shouldn't have been made a story. Or dumb story shouldn't have been made a movie. Whatever. Give me the Buckeyes.
I was going to say, can we just assume your pick is Ohio State?
Yeah. Okay. Give me Ohio State.
We've got our second feature matchup of the week. We've got number 19, Colorado, 3-0, going on the road in Eugene to take on number 10.
Oh, my gosh. This game's going to be so fun.
I don't know if this one's going to surprise you or not. Oregon opens up as a 20.5-point favorite. I also want to tell you, Vegas.
Pardon me?
Vegas has not been relatively close on a single Colorado spread so far this season. Not even relatively close.
Yeah, they are insane. That might be the dumbest prediction I've ever heard.
So that might be a lot closer than that says. That said, Colorado's got to do some stuff if they want to beat this Oregon team. This Oregon team has a phenomenal run-stopping ability, a phenomenal pass-rushing ability. They've got what it takes to really, really, really bottle up this Colorado team. So Colorado, if they want to get things going, they got to do the one thing they have not done at all this season. They have to open up that run game. They've got to find a way to get, I believe, something Edwards. Is it? I don't remember his first name. The running back, one of the fastest players on any football field. They've got to find a way to get him to the second level. He wasn't able to get past the line of scrimmage all game against Colorado State. You got to find a way to get him into the second level, get him into open field. He's going to make plays. He's going to have to become one of your biggest playmakers on your team if you're going to want to win games without Travis Hunter. You don't have that big playability without Travis Hunter. You've got big playability. You don't got explosive playability without Travis Hunter. You're going to need your run game to open up if you want to beat Oregon. I'm going to say Colorado takes their first loss here. Oregon's at home. They're a much more complete team. Maybe I'm doubting Deion too early. I don't know. I'm taking Oregon in this one, though.
I'm with you. Oregon's, like you're saying, they've got the pass defense. They got the rush defense. Their defense is set. But one thing, I mean, they also got on the other side, they got a Heisman Trophy candidate at the quarterback, and he looks good.
About to call him a wannabe? Were you about to call him a Heisman Trophy?
Not a wannabe, something.
Yeah.
He is a Heisman Trophy wannabe. He's up for it. He's up there. Granted, I mean, you right now, I mean, Travis Hunter's out. You have two on the other side of the ball, or on the other side. But, like, if they come out and they're laying duds like they did in Colorado State, they're not competing in this
game. I don't
game.
think Colorado's defense has what it takes to beat this Oregon team. This Oregon team isn't explosive by any means, but there is a statistic that I'd like to rattle off here. Oregon leads the FBS in red zone scoring efficiency. They score 87% of the time when they reach the red zone. They have also scored on 89% of their offensive possessions this season. Yeah.
Well, I guess it helps when you open the season 80-something to 0.
Well, yes.
Did you see that team blew out a team 91-0?
Yeah. They blew out North America. Have you ever heard of them? That's where we live. I've heard of them. That's the whole country. Who did they play?
They played the whole country.
Was that a high school team? Like, I don't know. I've never heard of them. Either way, they did blow them out. That was a lot of points. But those are some offensive numbers from Oregon. They don't look flashy, but they are efficient. I don't know if Colorado this early in Deion's tenure can handle efficiency.
I don't think they can keep up with that. I don't think their high-powered offense can keep up with Oregon's defense.
I don't think so either. I'm taking Oregon in this one. Let's move on to Iowa, Penn State. Give me the Duckies. You've got Penn State, whiteout, 6:30 p.m. game. Iowa's going on the road. Brian Ferentz not getting fired as of now. He is over his average.
So stupid.
He is over his average. Drew Aller has looked really, really good for the Nittany Lions so far. Iowa will be without, correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Luke Lachey.
They're tight end.
They will be without him this week, so Eric All is really going to have to step up. We'll see if Cade McNamara still has that chemistry with Eric All. They haven't used him a lot this season, so Evidently, Lachey's had that more, but
I don't know how to say it. It's like panini. It's like the noodle. They're Reganini or whatever. They're wide receiver. I don't know how to say his name.
They always pronounce it the proper way on TV. Regaini.
Regaini. Yeah, and like he was touted as like this guy that's going to be him this year. They just like last week didn't use him.
Yeah,
and obviously losing Luke Lachey is going to be huge, but I don't want to bet against the Hawkeyes.
I think
as an Iowa native, but
I think Iowa knows how to use their tight ends so well that it doesn't quite matter as much as people think.
That's about the only thing Brian Ferentz knows how to do.
They're going to get Eric All open. Eric All is going to make plays simply because Iowa knows how to make that happen.
Yep.
The spread here, again, don't know if it'll surprise you or not. The spread here, Penn State opens as a 14-point favorite. I think that should be a little closer, but you are in a night game at Penn State. They tend to ramp it up a little bit.
It's scary there.
But that aside, I think it should be a little closer. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this is
I hope so.
Not a much better. I think it's a better Iowa team than people are giving them credit for. Offense still doesn't look great. I would say defense does seem a little downgraded from last year, simply because they're not getting 7 interceptions a game.
I mean, if you watch the first half of that game against Utah State, their defense didn't, not the first half because they only got them 10 points.
Yeah,
but like they were moving the ball. Like Utah State was moving the ball at will, and the one thing Iowa doesn't usually do is give up chunk plays, and they give up a 63-yard bomb.
Yeah.
And it was against their number one cornerback or safety, whatever position he is, Cooper DeJean. And like, I don't know.
One positive out of Iowa, their offensive line push looked a lot better against Iowa State and Western Michigan. So you got to bring that. You're going to have to bring that against Penn State to a whole different level. That said, I'm not going to take them to cover, but give me Penn State in this one.
I'm not betting against my Hawkeyes.
Not betting against them. I don't dislike that. I really don't dislike that. I think this is going to be a lot better game than people think. I'm excited for this game.
This might be the home state blinders being on, but I like Iowa. I think their defense shows up. Their defense always does show up in the big game situations like this
it's for some reason. But
they always seem to
both sides.
Yeah, they always seem to show up in this kind of situation. But then in like the smaller games that like you don't think are supposed to be like that are supposed to be the big blowout wins, that's when they kind of shade away.
Yeah.
But I think they show up and give me Cade McNamara 300 yards in a game.
I like it. You ready for the upset pick?
Let's get it.
You ready for the upset pick? Number 4, I know. Number 4, Florida State 3-0 going on the road to take on Clemson in this one. Let me give my 2 cents. Before you give yours, let me give mine. Florida State opens up as a 2.5-point favorite. I will say before I give my 2 cents, I think that line should be a little deeper. But here's what I have on this game. Clemson wet the bed in week 1 against Duke. They looked horrible.
Big facts.
Offense
but
looked
Duke
terrible.
Also looked so good.
They looked like they were struggling to even keep in the game against Duke, much less win it. They look like they were struggling to even keep it in that game. They've struggled to get off to hot starts against much lesser opponents than even Duke. Quarterback play has been less than exciting, and Dabo, if he doesn't change some things, let's face it, his job is on the line. Clemson has flat out stunk. And you know what? That's exactly why I expect this game right here to be an absolute fist fight. First ACC game. Clemson's at home. They're going to run down that hill. They're going to touch that rock, and they're going to get into a brawl.
Their entrance is so lit.
They're going to get into a brawl.
It's so fun.
Maybe it's not close. Maybe I'm crazy. Vegas seems to think it's going to be close. I think this game is going to be an absolute brawl. With that all out of the way, emotions aside, I'm not taking the upset this week. This Florida State team looks so good right now. They look so good to the point where I think the only team that is beating this Florida State team this year is themselves. And if they make the right mistakes in this game, I think Clemson could be right there. I don't think they make those mistakes in this game, though. I am taking Florida State. I'm even going to take Florida State to cover because 2.5 points is a very thin margin.
I'm with you. I'm taking Florida State to cover, and I think that offense looks so high-powered. Like, can't even think the quarterback's name, which doesn't look good, but he is doing it all. Like, he can run, he can throw, he's got the deep ball accuracy, he's got the short, he's got the mid.
Yeah.
Their run game looks good. Their defense is solid.
Defense looks really good.
Their defense looks very good, and I think Clemson crumbles.
Yeah, I want just for
I would love
just for college football's sake, I'd love to see crazy upsets all year, and that's where we're trending towards. So I'd love to see an upset here. I don't think we get that upset though. I think Florida State takes this game. I don't think they take it handily. I think at most I would give this game a 7-point spread, a touchdown spread.
I would say I'm giving it probably a 2-possession game I'm giving it like a 10.
And I would hammer the under in that game is all I'm saying. Are we ready to get to NFL?
I was Joe here for that part.
Bottom half of the hour. Yeah, he's big Clemson. I think he would have picked Clemson. Bottom half of the hour, are you ready to get into NFL talk?
Let's get into some NFL. I kind of want to skip it, but it's a little heartbreak, but it's fine.
Before we challenge our brains with a little NFL talk, let me challenge you guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's not hard. It's really quick. Flip your phone real quick, hit subscribe, back out of your full screen, click subscribe. Not only that, get your friends to subscribe. Get your grandma to subscribe. Get your sister to subscribe. I don't care who it is. Make your dog a YouTube account. Have him subscribe. It's fully legal. It's easy. Support is free. For those of you who might just be tuning in that are friends of ours that don't think you're going to watch every episode, just subscribe. We don't care if you don't watch every episode. Others will. Just subscribe. Get us out there. I want to issue this challenge because we're trying to hit milestones here. We're trying to hit milestones. We're trying to hit 100 first. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If we hit that 100, when we hit that 100, I'd like to do something for you guys. Possibly
we're giving away $10,000 cash.
No, possibly a little bit. Possibly a little bit of a giveaway though. We're not doing clothing, but that doesn't mean something's not in the works. Hit those subs. Make other people subscribe. Prove to us you're making other people subscribe. Maybe we'll pick a few of you and we'll get you some one-of-one designs nobody else has. Let's talk NFL.
Ooh.
Giants go 6 quarters without a score and then lead a crazy 28-point
Daniel
comeback
freaking Jones
win.
Happens.
The Cardinals,
all I'm going to say is Daniel Jones, I don't like you.
No?
I had you in I played him in fantasy. First half, I'm just like, I am going to crush this guy. Second half,
not
37
so
points.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks, Daniel
Got
Jones.
it. Yikes for the Cardinals, first of all.
They're not winning a game this year. Just going to throw that out there.
Congrats to the Giants for scoring points. Is there
learn how to play football?
Is there less panic out of Giants fans now? Reminder: this game was against Arizona.
Honestly, I don't think there should have been as much panic
as there was
because Dallas looks phenomenal.
Dallas looks really good. We'll get to Dallas.
Oh my gosh, really they look so good. So like, I don't think Giants fans should worry all that much. As long as because Daniel Jones has proved that he's a very good quarterback when that offensive line can block.
That offense found its rhythm in the second half. Obviously,
they're going to. They got
the talent
of the season,
to do it. You get shut out. You're gonna back down a little bit. You're gonna lose a little bit of confidence. Even as a grown man, you're gonna lose a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, this is a very good bounce back game for them because it was Arizona, and they are.
Do Giants fans still think Daniel Jones is the guy after 321 yards and 2 touchdowns? They were real against him in that game 1, which Giants fans are not exactly known to be all that fair. But
I don't know how you can blame Daniel Jones for that whole game 1. The tip drill interception, not his fault. The interception where Saquon literally got obliterated and it bounced into the other guy's hand, not Daniel Jones' fault. Like, Daniel Jones didn't look great, but Daniel Jones didn't look bad.
That I agree with that.
I'm not worried about Daniel Jones.
Rookie wide receiver Jalen Hyatt on my fantasy team breaks out finally. He didn't have a single target in game 1 on the field the entire game, not a single target. Finally breaks out 89 yards, as well as 3 other Giants targets, collecting 40 plus yards receiving. Really balanced offense there. Defensive end of the ball. The Giants are yet to get a sack and yet to force a turnover. They have 3 total quarterback pressures in 2 games.
Yeah, that's not great.
That's not good. That's terrible.
That's actually, especially week 1, I understand not having like a turnover or a QB pressure because Dallas's offensive line is really freaking good.
Oh yeah.
But Arizona, let's figure it out. They are not good.
What is this Giant? Saquon's out now too as well. What is this Giants identity from here on out? How does this team win games?
I don't think they know.
I don't necessarily think they know either.
But yeah, you've got to find a way to get that defense doing something.
You gotta create pressure.
Yeah, it showed. Not to bring my team into it, but the Lions, like a couple years ago, they had a solid offense, but their defense was one of the worst in the league. Granted, last year it was the same way, but like when Matt Stafford when they went to the playoffs, their defense was terrible. They didn't allow turnovers. I think they were last in the league in turnovers, last in the league for pressures and everything like that.
Yep.
If your defense isn't getting that offense off the field, you're not going to win football games. So they got to figure out how that defense can get some pressure and like dial up some different blitzes or something. You got to throw some wrinkles in there to get that team, because they have the talent on defense to do it.
Offensively, I think balanced passing attack is going to be your biggest weapon, which fortunately for them in today's NFL, that is very possible. They no longer have a run game, though. Without Saquon, you're very hurt there. Daniel Jones isn't going to be able to run the ball all the time himself. Defenses are not going to allow that.
Because he'll trip after 70 yards.
Defenses aren't going to allow that. So you can't really develop too much of a passing threat without a running attack. If I'm any defensive coordinator right now, I'm sitting in a cover 3 zone against this team, not letting them throw the ball, forcing them to run, and I'm dominating them.
Sit in a cover 3 with a spy, and that's all you need.
Any top 15 defense right now should be able to just pick this team apart with their immense lack of run game. But I suppose we'll see. I don't see this Giants team winning a lot of games this year. That Saquon hurts, but they also don't have a lot of pieces elsewhere.
Yeah, they got Darren Waller and Jalen Hyatt, and hopefully Jalen Hyatt comes in a little bit more, and they get that Daniel Jones Hyatt connection.
I'm excited for him. Speaking of connections, the best connection in the NFL right now,
too sweet,
might just be Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield.
I'm gonna say this. I called it before last week. I picked up Baker Mayfield in fantasy, and I was like, I did. I started him this week.
I like it.
Well, granted, my other options was I had Daniel Jones and Bryce Young. I was like,
I ride or die. I ride or die with Brock Purdy, and even if that man tears his UCL again, I just won't play with the quarterback.
He's your starter.
I just won't play with the quarterback. Ride or die. Anyway, Baker Mayfield through 2 games, 490 yards, 3 touchdowns, not making mistakes. The dude is just doing what he needs to do. He's delivering to his targets. He's letting them make plays. Not a ton going on there, but enough going on there to win games. Defense, actually second defense in the NFL right now behind the team we're going to talk about next, the Cowboys, averaging 4.5 sacks and 2.5 takeaways a game. Second highest turnover margin at, I believe, +5.
That's winning football.
Their offense has not coughed up the football yet. No fumbles, no interceptions. They're converting third downs at over 42%. The Bills held that record last year at, I believe, 51%. So they're pretty in that ballpark for the most part. That team looks good.
Yeah, they look very good. I mean, and it's both sides of the ball. It's honestly, it's all fast.
It's balanced. It's so good.
Wow.
That team.
Who would have thought coming into this year that this team, 1, would be 2-0.
Oh yeah.
2 would be getting led by Baker Mayfield, and 3 would be one of the best defenses in the league. After let's be honest, they had a struggle last year in the defensive side.
Post Tom Brady, I had zero faith in this team. I'm not going to lie. 100%. And that's what's fueling this team, obviously, from what they've said. But I had no faith in this team, as did most people. How real is this hype for the Bucs?
I'm here for it. I really am. I like it. I think it's earned, very well earned in this first 2 weeks, and I think they've got a very easily winnable division because they got the Saints and Falcons, and
not only do they have a winnable division, they have a bottom 10 strength of schedule. So with that, how many games do you think they win? Because this team looks a lot better than a bottom 10 strength of schedule.
Honestly, I'd say give me a 10 plus wins.
10 plus, that's a lot of wins. 10.
Then there's
10 and 7. 10 and 7 is not a bad range.
10 and 7, 11 and 6.
I don't know if I give him more than 10 because Baker has not been that consistent in the NFL. Even when he's looked good, he hasn't been great. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Maybe he will be. But I mean, that's just something.
Even if he doesn't, he can be this Baker Mayfield the rest of the year, putting up the 150 yards, 200 yards a game. And as long as he keeps his turnovers down, which has been his struggle throughout his career, is keeping turnovers down, this team is going to be very good.
Oh, yeah. I'm rooting for him at this point. This team's been really fun to watch. They got a lot of attitude to them.
They got attitude and they got talent. They back it up.
That's when you enjoy watching Baker Mayfield, is when he's got that attitude. He's got that swagger. He's got that Oklahoma in him where he's just a dog. And he wants to come out and plant that flag. He wants to win football games, baby. And he wants to prove people wrong. You put a chip on Baker Mayfield's shoulder, and he's dangerous. That's how he is. I'm excited for that team.
That team's going to cause problems.
Speaking of quarterbacks who have a history of making mistakes, throwing interceptions, costing their team seasons, making mistakes, and trying to do too much.
Josh Allen's not on the list.
Dak Prescott. Could it be the Cowboys' year? We hear this a lot. We hear this every year. We've heard this every year since, the 80s, 90s, early 90s? Either way.
1810. We've heard it. It's Dallas' year.
You hear this a lot, but I got a lot of good things to say about this Cowboys team. It's week 2. Here's the thing with the NFL. It's week 2. It's the NFL. There's a lot that happens in 18 weeks, but 17 games of football. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Narratives change over the season quite frequently in this league, but the narrative is currently on game 2. And through 2 games, the Cowboys are beating opponents 70-10.
Outrageous.
Of those 70 points, Cowboys defense and special teams has scored 14 of them. The defense also accounts for 10 sacks. That's 5 sacks a game, mind you. 7 forced turnovers, and obviously only 10 points allowed. Through 2 games, Dak Prescott has 398 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very similar to Baker numbers, which is leading me to my next point. Dak Prescott is finally doing exactly what Dak Prescott needs to do to win, and that is back off. Let somebody else make plays. Let somebody else win you the games. Because you've proven you're not a good decision maker. You're not good under pressure. You make a lot of silly mistakes when you try to extend plays. So
he's not an improvising Mahomes.
No.
So I hate that I just said that.
But it's true. So he's being efficient. He's doing what he needs to do to win, and it looks good. This team looks so good.
He's finally realizing that he's not that guy, and he's okay with it.
Correct.
Like the thing that his numbers don't back up, and they don't back up how well he's been because of that week 1. He didn't have the stats. Like he didn't have the touchdowns. No. He didn't have the yards. But he didn't need to. His team's defense just literally took over.
In that game, he didn't need to because defense and special teams just dominated the Giants.
Just literally dominated every aspect of that game.
The fact that you can win 40-10 and possess the ball on offense for like 22 minutes is beyond me.
It's literally absurd.
But either way, that team, I got a lot of positive things to say about that team. And for the first time in my life, I've got a lot of positive things to say about Dak Prescott because he's looked good. He's looked efficient. He looks like a team leader. That, to me, being a leader is a really big aspect in a quarterback. And he looks like he's really, really fitting that bill right now.
For me, it's the first time in 22 years I can feel pretty confident in saying, Dallas, it just may be your year.
It could be.
I don't think it's. I think you've got the question on here. Do they clinch the number 1 seed?
Clinch the number 1 seed? Do they win?
At this point, I think they run away with their division. I think they handle that division so easily.
Are you forgetting about Philadelphia?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know about easily handle.
I think they sweep Philly. I think they sweep this division this year because
that's bold. I don't know about
first 2 weeks. Philly hasn't looked that great.
No, they've not looked that great, but it's the first 2 weeks of an NFL season. Regardless, I don't think they do it so handily, but I will say this, and maybe it's bold, maybe it's not. I think with Dak Prescott playing efficient football, with this defense playing at the level that they've shown us they can play at, I don't think there's a team better than Dallas currently on a football field.
I would agree. I think on paper, they are the best team.
Right now, I would say.
Could you imagine if, that year that Dak got hurt, was it 2 years ago when he broke his ankle 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, I think 2 years ago.
And he was on pace to put up 6,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Could you imagine if that Dak Prescott was playing right now with this defense?
Be interesting.
They would have beaten the Giants 81-0 like Oregon.
No, we're not forgetting about the 49ers. No, we're not forgetting about the Eagles. No, we're not forgetting about the Chiefs.
Detroit Lions.
And we're not forgetting about the Lions for sure. But regardless, I'm sorry. I know the Cowboys have not played the greatest opponents.
Statistically, always let us down.
They've played the Jets with Zach Wilson at quarterback, and they've played the Giants. But the Jets
still have a very good defense, and that offense did what they wanted.
But I don't know. This Dallas team is really good to me. Quick note on the Jets. Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall combined for 9 carries, and that offense looked terrible.
Yes, very bad.
Obviously, when you're down 20-0 in the first quarter, it's not easy to bounce back from that.
And when your quarterback throws 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I think it was 4 total, but 3 in the first half, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot you can do in that game. I think it's time for the Jets to sign a veteran, but that is.
Give me Kirk Cousins.
Give me Kirk. What? That is
Kirk Cousins to the Giants.
To the Giants.
To the Jets.
To the Jets.
I think I did say Jets. I meant to say Jets.
What does that trade look like?
I don't know.
I don't know. Regardless.
Sauce Gardner.
Regardless, that is besides the point. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's get to a little parlay party. Parlay party, for those of you who are new here, this is my probably favorite. It will be second favorite as of next week, but probably favorite segment of the week. What we do here is we are building your ultimate weekly NFL winners parlay. We're going to give you 5 picks for our absolute locks for the week. Money lines, spreads, you name it. We're going to give our picks. And then we're going to give you a garbage shoot pick after, which is a game you should not touch. Our garbage shoot pick last week was perfect. We had the Broncos Commanders, and that game was just disgusting.
That Hail Mary was absolutely insane.
Parlay party.
Shout out Russell Wilson for that.
I'm kind of an idiot because what I try to do with this is I try to only put on Sunday games. So then we know by episode time if we hit the parlay or not. I accidentally put a Monday night game on last week, and we picked that Monday night game. We picked the Panthers to reverse cover a -2.5 point spread. That game's going right now. I have no idea how it's going, but we picked that one.
I was trying to see what the NFL, what the Monday night game was next week, but it's not loading.
The Panthers cover that one, our record will be 4-1. So we almost hit our first parlay. Zach, do you want to give me the answer on which team?
Yeah. Actually, let's get into it. I'll give you the answer. It was the Lions. Whatever. They lost. Here's
Beautiful
why.
Game, by the way.
Here's why they lost. One. They had 8 injured starters.
Yeah, that doesn't help. That doesn't help.
Like throughout the game.
How's Hutch doing?
He came back in overtime. They said that he should be back next week. Okay. But they lost James Houston. Sucks. David Montgomery out the next 3 to 4 weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown cramping all game.
Yep.
He's currently, I think, day to day, but he should be back.
They still looked pretty good for all things considered. But
yeah, and one more thing before we move on. Overtime rule is stupid.
I think it is too.
That overtime rule is so stupid. Just because they scored a touchdown and they won, give Jared Goff the chance to go down. They'll score a touchdown and get the 2 point, and they'll win the game. Get him out of there.
I get not wanting to just switch up all the rules.
So stupid.
But the playoff overtime rule is so much better than the regular season.
Honestly,
one.
The college overtime rule is so much better.
Well, the playoff overtime basically is the college one.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't know why you don't just make the playoff one the same regardless. Everyone wants to see both teams get the ball. There's not a single person on this planet that wants to see the game end after one touchdown. Especially in that game, because it was a very good game. No one's going to be like, I don't want to see any more of this. Let's get out of here. Unless you're a Seahawks fan and the Lions win. Currently game 6-6. Currently records 3-1. I told you guys last week, I retracted it, but I told you guys last week, I guaranteed if you took our bets as solos, you would profit. I don't guarantee that because this is not betting advice. This is not financial advice legally. So I don't guarantee anything. But you would have. We went 3-1, potentially 4-1, depending on how that game's going. But let's increase that record again. Let's get into these. All right. Are there any?
Good. We don't have no Monday night games on there.
Are there? Oh no, I made sure this week. Are there any games that jump out to you immediately as locks?
There's 2 games that jumped out to me right away as locks, and it was Chiefs Bears and the Bills and Commanders.
Chiefs Bears, Chiefs to cover or just Chiefs money line?
Absolutely.
Chiefs to cover 12.5?
Yeah, so easily.
Okay.
And here's why. Chiefs defense just got back Chris Jones and looked even better really than they did.
They looked really good.
And granted, I talked about this with Carter at work. He's a Chiefs fan. Their offense looked shaky, but I mean, it's getting back Travis Kelce off an injury.
You're off a bounce
getting back the offensive line
yeah.
healthy, and I think the Chiefs absolutely run away with this game.
Let's put Chiefs on the back burner. We'll come back to whether or not we take spread or money line. You said Bills and
Bills Commanders.
Bills Commanders. Do you like the Bills spread in that one? They're on the road.
Yeah.
I don't like
a
the touchdown
Commanders
spread.
I don't like the Commanders defense. I don't like the Commanders at all.
I think with
Sam
how
Howell's
bad
actually been playing pretty well.
I think with how bad the Bills just dominated the Raiders. We said the Raiders were a more respectable team than their spread last week, so we went with money line. We probably could have went with spread because the Bills dominated that game. Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think our first pick is Bills minus 6.5. I think that is our first lock. You know which one stands out to me here? Cowboys on the road at Cardinals. Cowboys to cover that. Cowboys to dominate that 12.5 point spread.
Yep.
I think we're starting off
Cowboys by 30.
I think we're starting off with 2 spreads here. I think we're taking Cowboys spread and we're taking the Bills minus 6.5. Let's circle back. Let's circle back to that Chiefs Bears. Do we want to go money line or do we want to throw another spread on here?
I really genuinely think they cover. Because Justin Fields, not to get on the hate for Justin Fields, but he looked so bad last week.
He did.
Against the Packers defense, who doesn't look that good.
Chiefs defense
and the Chiefs defense looks so much better.
Chiefs defense forces a lot of pressure, not a lot of interceptions, but I mean, it can result in that. Screw it. Let's start with 3 spreads here. Pretty risky start to the parlay party here. We're going to start with Cowboys minus 12.5 at Cardinals. Very confident in that one. Bills minus 6.5 at the Commanders. Very confident in that one. Little less confident in this one, but Chiefs spread over the Bears. Very, very doable. I mean, it could be a breakout game for the Chiefs. They're still looking to get their offense.
Figure it out.
They're still looking to get their offense at top notch. This could be the game.
And I think the Bears defense, it doesn't have a very good rush defense, and I think the Chiefs finally figure out Andy Reid, for one of the first times in his career, great coach, but he figures out that he can run the football too and be very good and gives the ball to Pacheco, and I think Pacheco has a coming out party this week.
I like it. I also like Vikings money line over the Chargers at home. Vikings are 0-2. I don't see a universe where the Vikings fall to 0-3 to start the season. With Justin Jefferson putting up nearly 200 yards a game receiving, how do they lose their first 3 games? I don't see a world where it's possible.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I hate the Vikings because back to fantasy football, played Jettas and TJ Hawkinson and Daniel Jones this week. So that's a combined 90 points with 3 players. But I think Vikings bounce back here because the Chargers defense looks very shaky.
I like to follow storylines a lot, and there's patterns to football games more than there is just talent on the field. There's patterns to games. I don't see a planet where the Vikings lose 3 in a row. So I think that is our 4th. Do you got a 5th jumping at you?
Is this our bold one?
We are looking for a bold one. We are looking for a bold one. There's not a ton of bold.
There's not really a bold one on here.
There's not a ton of bold.
I mean, unless you go Titans Jags, but then you're just insane.
Our bold one could also be flipping a spread.
The one I'm thinking is Titans Browns, honestly. That's the one I keep going back to. I think Titans cover. I think Titans win.
Titans, you think Titans win it? Do you think potentially a reverse -4? That's a whole touchdown. They got to be ahead, roughly. That could be our risk. I don't know. You're at Cleveland. Cleveland's defense looks really good. Do you want to just go Titans money line on that one? Titans look a lot better this week against the Chargers.
They finally looked good.
But I'm just saying that Browns defense is
defense is very stacked.
That Browns defense is not the Chargers defense.
Yeah. The other one I keep going to, and I hate that I keep going to it because I don't know why I have so much faith in this stupid man, but it's the Jets. I don't know why I like Zach Wilson so much, but I do.
You know which one I kind of like
about that game. I like.
You know which one I kind of like. Call me absolutely ridiculously crazy.
Don't say the Broncos.
Gardner Minshew just took over for the Colts. Colts go on the road and are 8.5-point dogs against the Ravens.
Ooh.
Could the Colts sneak one out?
I don't hate that, but I think Lamar Jackson looked so good last week.
He did look really good. He finally connected with Mark Andrews.
Dolphins.
No, heck no. I kind of like your Titans Browns. Titans go on the road and they go 2-1.
I think
I don't think they reverse cover that,
but I don't think so either.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at Vikings money line. That's already kind of risky in and of itself because they are dogs in that one. We got Vikings money line. We got Bills to cover 6.5. We've got the Chiefs to cover 12.5. Cowboys to cover 12.5. And then that leaves us at our risky pick, I believe, which would be Titans
Bills,
as 4-point dogs taking down the Browns money line.
Yeah,
I think that's all 5. I like it. I really like that. The spreads scare me. Spreads always scare me. Just because Vegas
12.5-point one is a little scary.
Just because Vegas is always really, really close with those. That's the only reason those scare me. And it's the NFL. I mean, you're in such a balanced league. A lot of stuff can happen at any given time. But let's pick a garbage shoot game. What's a game
honestly,
here?
One of the other one that I could see as like a gimme, to be completely honest, that I would be willing to get rid of the Chiefs Bears for is that Dolphins Broncos game covering.
Take the Dolphins to cover other Broncos. Dolphins are.
I think the Dolphins and Tua. We didn't talk about it, but I think.
So you're saying
I think
Tua
is my dark horse MVP.
Saying throw out the Chiefs, put the Dolphins in.
I would be okay with that.
Jalen Waddle will not be active for this game.
Don't care.
Still taking him to cover that 6?
Easily.
Okay, so let's throw out the Chiefs.
I would say either I'm cool with keeping the Chiefs in because I'm still pretty confident in that one. But
I don't like Chiefs money line in that one or Chiefs spread in that one.
I'm much more confident in the Dolphins covering the spread.
I like it. So let's throw the Chiefs game out. So then at that point we are looking at Vikings money line. We're looking at Bills to cover 6.5. We're looking at Dolphins to cover 6, Cowboys to cover 12.5, and the Titans to go on the road and take down the Browns.
Yeah.
For record's sake, that is our parlay party there. Let's pick a garbage shoot.
Steelers Raiders. Not touching that game with a 10-foot pole.
That's the main one that jumped out to me.
Nope.
I don't. Yeah, that's the main one that jumped out to me. Saints Packers kind of, but I think the Packers handle that game. I'm not gonna lie. Packers are.
And honestly, as much as I hate to say this, I wouldn't bet on the Lions Falcons one either.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that actually was probably gonna be my garbage shoot pick this week when I was.
That might be my
games.
garbage shoot pick.
I think that's our garbage shoot pick because both of those teams look so good right now in their respective rights. They look equal. Yeah. Both of those teams look very, very equal right now. That game could go a lot of different ways.
The only reason obviously I want the Lions to win as a Lions fan, but the only reason I think the Lions do end up winning that game, and I think they do. I really do think they cover the spread. Only because Falcons don't have a pass offense really. And that's where the Lions struggle. Yeah. Yes, they got Bijan and Tyler Algier, or however you say his name, but the Lions' rush defense looks really good. So I'm not. I feel like I'm undershooting how good they are, but I don't know. I'm not worried about it as much as I should be, probably.
As of right now,
they're going to come out and put out 1,000 yards.
Just an update. As of right now, we're probably going to be 3-2 in our first week. The Panthers don't look bad right now. It's 13-6, but.
Ooh.
Game's pretty close to ending there. Lot could happen though. I mean, close game. Either way, I really like that garbage shoot pick. I think we're gonna do pretty good this week as well. Again, probably gonna be 3-2 last week. Picking a rookie quarterback as our risky pick was a little extra risky last week, but I still like it. It was a fun one.
So are you going garbage shoot games Steelers Raiders, or are you going garbage shoot Lions Falcons?
I think we're taking 2 garbage shoot games.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with picking those.
It's our show. You guys don't tell us what to do.
Yeah, we do what we want.
Don't touch Raiders Steelers. We tell you what to do. Don't touch Steelers Raiders. Don't touch Falcons Lions. Don't touch either of those games. It's a bad idea.
For sure, don't touch Steelers Raiders.
It's a bad idea. Just don't do it.
Both those teams don't look great, and that game could be 5-2 for all I know.
Yeah. That is going to do it for Parlay Party. It's also going to do it for the episode.
Let's wrap up.
It's also going to do it for the episode. Episode 2.
I got some boigas to make.
Is in the books. One thing I want to let you guys know going into next week, one more new segment's going to be here. Not only is Joe going to be here, one more new segment's going to be here.
Medium Ting's coming.
I don't know if we're bringing that back. Our NFL, our very own. Like I said last week, the nerds were in the lab. I'm the nerds. They were in the lab. We got our own. This computer's got its own little equation now. We got our own mathematics. We've got our own NFL rankings, power ratings, if you will, which we'll explain next week as we release the very first power ratings for the NFL season, our very own.
And you best believe Detroit's number 1, baby.
Detroit probably will not be number 1, but the computer decides that.
Hey, after they win by 106.
Either way, we will explain more about that next week when we introduce it to you guys. For now, that is episode 2. I'm Ethan. That's Zach. And we're going to see you guys next week for episode 3.
We out.
Peace.